Miami Vice won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to the Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Adventures in babysitting. No, nobody leaves without singing the blues.
Because she's got the babysitter's blues.
Yeah, the Babysitter's Blues. That was
so
wow.
cringy.
Wow. I love this movie,
Yeah.
and I love this movie because I saw it when I was like 11.
Yes.
And it was amazing. Does not really hold up.
This month has been a
Roller coaster of emotion.
Yes, we started strong with we started strong with Buckaroo Banzai,
Yeah.
and then hit a bit of a snag with Remo Williams.
Man, which again, not a bad movie.
Not at all.
Just
not
not as good as it could have been.
well, and it's also not as good as you remember, and that's the saddest. It's when
Yeah.
it doesn't hold up to your own
Yeah.
memories and love of something.
Yeah.
It sucks when something that was so beloved as a young person just doesn't hold up as well. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. If
Yeah.
you want to know why, listen to last week's episode. But
This movie was interesting because it had an opposite problem that Remo Williams had, whereas Remo Williams kind of lost its way in the third act. This movie, once that third act started, man, it was like gangbusters.
oh yeah,
it just
totally
went.
picked up. It was such a better movie.
Yeah.
In the third act.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, see, I saw this movie when I was a little bit older. I was in high school, I believe.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I
No.
liked it. But there
Yeah.
were just too many cringy things in it for it to become like a classic for me.
Right.
So I was kind of hoping that I would see it again, and we'd be Ghostbusters to it.
Yeah,
which is our new benchmark.
Your
for,
benchmark, yeah.
for a movie that is like the Grinch. It grows 6 times in goodness. It was fine. It's just, unfortunately, there's so much in the 80s and in the 80s movies that does not fly today.
No.
And looking back on it is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And this movie really encapsulates a lot of that. And
Yes.
it really it goes to show you that a lot of these Hughes or Chris Columbus movies.
Yeah.
'Cause I was thinking about this with I'm looking at you, Weird Science.
Yeah.
With these upper class, rich, suburban Chicago kids. Going into the jungles of the city with all of the poors and the minorities.
The 3 black guys rapping outside the bus station or whatever.
That was fine. People did that.
Happened all the time.
Well, people were always doing it. It was like the doo-wop groups of the 80s for people doing hip freestyling.
Right,
I used to do that with my boys.
Right.
Did not. It was a little tone deaf, all of these rich suburban kids.
Yeah.
The perils was, I have to deal with, and in this movie, car thieves, you know, they're bad guys.
Yeah. The guys running the chop shop, like the chop shop manager who talks to the 12 white guys that are running the chop shop.
Yeah, somehow the chop shop is run by the mob, the Chicago mob.
I guess.
And that's even more insulting because it's like, black guy's got to work for a white guy.
Yeah.
Even in the crims.
Yeah. There was some bad. It wasn't. The thing is that technically I was 9 when this came out, but I watched it a lot when it was on like pay TV, like Cinemax and Showtime, which it ran all the time. I was literally the target audience because I wasn't from the suburbs. I was from a city, and granted, but like it might as well have been the suburbs. And I was very ignorant of how the world worked.
Sure.
And so I just bought into all this. And not that I bought into the fact that like, black people are bad, but like it was just that I saw that movie so much that I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like this is how the world works.
Of course a bunch of black people in a blues bar are going to sympathize with the white teenage girl's silly, superficial problems and really see the depth of her torture and pain of being a babysitter.
Just one look and they know. Like, if I got lost out in the wilds of Chicago, I'd be fine.
There was just such a disconnect back then with reality
Yeah.
And it was, and I know that they're like, well, we're showing them in a good light because they're happy, they're clapping, and they're supportive. It's just showing that they're empathetic, and it's like, no, man, no, you reread the scene for a second, rewatch the scene for a second, and it's just, and I feel really badly because I know that. This is Elizabeth Shue's favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
Was doing that blues scene.
She really liked performing.
Well, look, I get it, man. She was performing with an absolute legend.
Yeah.
And, what's his name?
Albert Collins.
An absolute legend in Albert Collins.
Yeah.
And it must have been really fun, but it was just like...
Man, cringe-tastic.
Oh, and then the kids being
even when I was young, I thought that scene was cringy.
Everybody did.
But as I got older, it was so much worse.
Yeah, it's and Anthony Rapp. His character, my God.
Yeah, if this movie doesn't teach you anything, it's that some of your friends are a-holes, and you should not be friends with them.
Oh, I had tons of friends like that. I had so many friends as a kid that my parents were like, you shouldn't be friends with that person.
Yeah,
and they were right. They were bad.
It was Brenda and Daryl? Were those the two? I think his name was Daryl.
Brenda was Penelope Ann Miller.
Right, and then Daryl, was Anthony Rapp.
Right.
Yeah, they were both just obnoxious kids.
Well, Brenda was just dumb. Brenda was dumb and dramatic and funny. And I would have to say, it's Penelope Ann Miller nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. She was hilarious.
It's like the level of Ruthless People with Bill Pullman,
right.
Like his debut.
Yes.
She was dead on in this.
So good. And look, Anthony Rapp was great too. He was just too good.
He was so annoying.
Too good at playing an obnoxious tween.
Oh my God.
Or teen.
Props. Yeah. Well, a teen. But props to Elizabeth Shue's character for not turning around and just smacking the shit out of him every time he opened his mouth.
Oh my God. It was relentless. And, oh God, just a little sociopath. But
horrible. The laughing when they got the flat tire. It's how insane are you, man?
I would have pushed him into traffic and been like, oops, sorry, Anthony Rapp.
You're not even supposed to be with us.
Oh, man. Anyway. But. Always butts on this show.
Oh,
Tons of butts.
Oh, big butts.
We're probably going to be hard on this today, but we do like it. And the thing is, I think when these movies that we rewatch that we used to love and that they're not so beloved now, we're a little harder on them.
Yeah.
Just because we're kind of working through the pain ourselves.
Well,
we're working through the realization.
Well, I still love this movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I can see it more plainly for what it is now, having not seen it in 30 years. But I still love this movie because Elizabeth Shue is amazing in this movie.
She is so charming, so good.
Huge crush on her when I was young.
Every human heterosexual boy and non-heterosexual girl had a major crush on Elizabeth Shue.
And I think that Bradley Whitford might be the reason that I don't like the preppy jocks. He was such a douchebag in this movie.
Well, brother, there were about 8 movies that would reinforce your hatred of preppy jocks.
I know. But this is one of those. This is just the one that I saw more often, and granted, I still love this movie. It's a fun movie. I love the Maia Brewton playing the little kid that loves Thor.
Oh, yeah.
And Vincent D'Onofrio. There's so many little things in this movie that are great.
What's so funny is that everybody's a jerk for about 6 seconds. And then there's one tiny, I'm $5. No, you gotta go get a car. You don't got the $5. Hey, Thor, here's your hat. That's why you're being mean. You giving this to me?
Yeah,
you giving this to me? Forget about the $5. Oh, just the $5, D'Onofrio.
Yeah, and don't worry, I've already got one at home. What the hell did that mean? I don't understand.
That meant that he is Thor. He was letting her know that he has his helmet. He was being a nice guy.
Everybody has a bad day. Maybe it just takes a little kid thinking that you're a super god, to make you put in a better mood.
D'Onofrio had some circs under his eyes, baby. He was looking rough.
I know.
To lose that amount of weight, because he came on. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Jesus Christ, man. That guy.
He was skinny as a rail, man.
And for a minute. A cameo.
Yeah.
This wasn't even a part. It was a cameo.
Yeah.
That's just how much of a freak he was back then.
Well, I mean,
I'm on 8 minutes. No, about 4 minutes. All right, I'll work out for 6 months.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we'll talk about it more when we get to him. But I'm pretty sure that he had gained 70 pounds. So I think he lost 100 because he looked like he was 150. I mean, he looked so tiny.
Best he's ever looked. Best he's ever looked.
It was scarily skinny.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever looked that way in another film.
No, he's definitely bulked up since then. I mean, even in the 80s and 90s, like he was definitely, put a little more weight on.
But it's just, being in the middle of a gang fight, but it's, it's a quote-unquote.
It was straight out of Michael Jackson's Bad. Yeah. It was just so like, what? What?
I was waiting for them to West Side Story that.
Yeah.
Start dancing around.
Just got to break out the song.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into it. It is a fun, silly movie, and it is such a time capsule of the 80s. All of these Chris Columbus, John Hughes movies are, if you grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, this is your life. This is your childhood.
And I will say that there is definitely, I have had nights like this. Maybe not this extreme in the middle of gang fights and stuff, but I've had nights where like suddenly it's like, is this all really happening?
Oh, yeah.
Like one thing after another where you're like, how? I had a night like that in New York and Brooklyn where it was the last time I was there. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And just things just kept happening.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all the time with me.
Yeah.
A lot of times in Tijuana as a child. My high school was Adventures in Babysitting, but in Tijuana and probably an R rating more than a PG-13.
Well, yeah. Maybe on the Stepdad Show we'll tell a couple of stories, a couple of adventure nights when we have.
So when I was chased around with a dude and a knife trying to kill me in Tijuana.
All right. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I've been shot at, stabbed at. A lot of people tried to kill me, Adam. You know why. You understand that.
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's get into it.
Take yourself back to 1987.
Oh, yeah.
June 30th, U.S. daytime television is interrupted for the Iran-Contra hearings.
Oh, yeah, you forget. Ronald Reagan was a war criminal.
Yeah.
Aw, remember he was selling drugs for guns and he got away with it, but other guys went to jail? That sounds a little familiar.
Was it Schwarzkopf? No.
No, it was
not Schwarzkopf. It was
he's a
Nolan something?
North.
Ollie North. That's
Oliver
it.
North.
We got there.
Oliver North went to jail for like a second.
Yeah, and then he was on Fox News playing he was a correspondent for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. White guys fail upward, baby.
Yep.
That's how it is in this country. Anyway, just remember when you're thinking about the old Gipper.
Yeah.
I used to sell cocaine for guns.
Yeah.
Central America.
I mean, essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Good Lord. And nobody cared.
That same day, June 30th, Canada introduces a $1 coin nicknamed the loonie.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, it's going to take 6 loonies if you want to get this pack of smokes, okay? I'm sorry I had to raise it a loonie because of inflation, okay? So it's 6 loonies, not 5 loonies, okay?
There is not a more apt word for a Canadian dollar than loonie.
This is why Canada will never be part of the United States. It's just too cute and quirky and awesome.
It is. It's America's hat.
Yeah, I'm sure they love that.
July 1st.
I think they say, Canada says America is Canada's asshole.
Probably. July 1st, Nintendo releases Kid Icarus in North America. Do you remember Kid Icarus?
I do remember Kid Icarus.
It was hard.
It was very difficult. Video games back then, I've noticed getting some retros. Yeah. Games back then were hard as F, man.
Oh, yeah.
Not only hard as F, but you couldn't save.
No.
You couldn't, you had to play the entire game in one sitting or you're screwed.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't, then you had to pause it and keep it on and pray to God that nobody touched the console. Don't touch it! We're got my game going.
July 3rd, Adventures in Babysitting is released in theaters. Nobody gets out here without taking the blues.
It's spot on.
He's so good. God, Albert Collins is so good.
Albert Collins is an amazing performer, and he was having fun.
Oh, he had a great time. Are you
kidding? It looked
kidding?
like he was. I mean,
he had a great time.
Look, I think everybody was having a good time.
Adventures in Babysitting starts with writer David Simpkins, who was working at New World Pictures and had read the script for Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
How can I rip this off?
Yeah, well, Simpkins said he wanted to do a teen film in the vein of that film and After Hours, a story which told the series of misadventures over a limited time period.
Okay, that's a good ambition. After Hours is a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, so is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
They're both really good movies, and it's good to emulate them.
And I can see it. I can see both of them
totally.
In the movie.
Yeah. He pitched the idea to New World, who did not want to make it, so Simpkins wrote the script and sold it to Paramount.
Cool.
Yeah, this is back in the day when he was just I got the script, and Paramount's like, okay. Yeah. Yay, Hollywood.
Yeah, well, things were simpler back then.
It was assigned to producers Lida Obst and Deborah Hill, and Simpkins credited credits them with being of great assistance to the script. Chris Columbus had found some success with his first produced screenplay, Reckless, released in February of 1984, starring Aidan Quinn and Daryl Hannah, directed by James Foley.
I kind of remember that vaguely.
I've never seen this. I did not even know this existed until now. Columbus later said,
It wasn't my best work. I intended it to be semi-autobiographical, and the film was based on my attempts to break free, but the director turned it into a clumsy teen sex drama, and the experience was so degrading.
Columbus later claimed that he was banned from the set by Foley and cried after the first screening of the film.
Well, I can see why Foley. You don't want a first-time writer on your set. I didn't write that. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's not it. What are you doing here? No. Come here, actors. I want to talk to you. You don't know. I mean, go by. It's like, no, F you, you're gone. You know what it's like having a writer when you're trying to direct something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I know well enough that when I'm the writer and someone's directing my stuff, I keep my big fat mouth shut.
Exactly. Until afterwards, and you're like, that was horrible. You ruined my work.
And if they come to me and ask me, then sure. But like at that point, your job is done.
Yep.
Yeah. Columbus then hid away in his loft apartment and wrote Gremlins, which was released in the summer of 1984.
That'll show them.
It would make almost $213 million from an $11 million budget.
Listen to our Gremlins episode or our Gremlins 2 episode.
Listen to both episodes.
Make it a double feature.
Make it a double feature. Columbus then moved to Los Angeles to work for Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment, writing scripts including The Goonies and Young Sherlock Holmes, both released in 1985.
I really liked Young Sherlock Holmes. I thought that was a fun movie.
Yeah. So is The Goonies. Although he's not. I mean, he had other people writing with him as well. But it's not. It's
well, of course, The
scripts.
Goonies is great. I mean, everybody knows The Goonies, but people have kind of forgotten Young Sherlock Holmes. Not a perfect movie in any stretch of the word, but it was a fun beginning of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And I think that movie, if we watch it today, would Ghostbusters. Not Babysit.
Would Ghostbusters too?
Yep.
Columbus then geared himself up to start directing. He reviewed over 100 scripts and settled on Adventures in Babysitting, being comfortable with the scale of the production for his directing debut.
Smart. You don't want to do something too big, but you don't want to do something too small.
Yeah.
And this one seems like it's got some juice, but it's not going to be extremely taxing.
Right. So they cast Elizabeth Shue as Chris Parker. Chris! Paramount Pictures had first right of refusal to the production and demanded that Molly Ringwald be cast in the lead.
We demand Molly Ringwald be cast. If she's not cast, we're leaving.
They had dreams of creating a Ferris Bueller movie with Molly Ringwald.
Okay.
Making her another
Matthew Broderick.
Like putting her in that vein.
Like the lady Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, essentially. Ringwald turned it down, though, and Paramount Pictures gave up the production.
We give up. Whatever. Just do what you want to do. If she's not in it, I don't care.
They actually proposed Cher to play the lead.
What? Cher was like 40 at the time.
You know what's even worse? When they said no to Cher, they asked about Bette Midler.
Playing a 17-year-old?
Apparently.
No. I mean, they would have had to change it.
Would have been a very different movie.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that were up for this movie. A lot of people.
Although, I got to tell you, Bette Midler would have been hilarious.
She would have been great. She just would have been a little too old.
Well, she just would have been a
like maybe the neighbor or something.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been a high school
But she would have been funny.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think Cher would too. I was going to say Moonlighting, but Moonstruck is great.
Yeah.
Cher's a really good actor.
Yeah, I just not. I guess with the way the movie is,
the blues scene would have been a lot better if Cher or
that's true. Both of them because
Miller.
they're both actual
Great
singers.
Yeah.
So after that, Paramount totally gave up on the production, realizing they did not know how to cast movies.
We don't know anything about casting movies.
It moved to Touchstone Pictures, and they held auditions in Dallas, Florida, New York City, Toronto, Chicago, and Los Angeles, auditioning over 150 actresses. Valerie Bertinelli was the frontrunner until they auditioned Elizabeth Shue, who was still attending Harvard.
Valerie Bertinelli was great. I think she might have been a little bit old at this point.
Probably, yeah.
Because she
would have been probably in her late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. Because she, One Day at a Time, I think, was the 70s, right? 70s, early 80s.
Yes. Late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
This time she was married to Eddie Van Halen, I think.
Oh, really?
I don't know if...
I don't know. I don't know Eddie Van Halen's marriage history.
Well, he was married to Bertinelli.
Okay.
And they have their kid, Wolfgang.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Bertinelli. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Shue had started acting in high school, acting in television commercials, becoming a common sight in advertisements for Burger King, also featuring future stars Sarah Michelle Gellar and Leah Thompson, De Beers Diamonds, Chewel's Bubble Gum, and Best Foods Hellman's Mayonnaise.
Chewel's Bubblegum had the squirty in the middle, I think. And
Oh, yeah.
That Michelle Gellar, Leah Thompson commercial is crazy.
It's so weird.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is unrecognizable as a little
Yeah.
child. She doesn't look
Yeah.
anything like she does. It's crazy to see those all clumped up together
It's
in like
weird.
1980. Yeah.
And the two other women that are in that commercial who nobody knows who they are.
They both killed themselves.
Okay.
That's what I read. Creepy pasta.
She had small parts credited as Lisa Shue in The Royal Romance of Charles and Diana, a TV movie in 1982, and Somewhere Tomorrow, her feature debut in 1983, which provided an early starring role for Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay.
She was then cast as Allie in The Karate Kid, released in 1984, gaining favorable notices for her performance.
She was great.
She was so good in that movie. She had a small role in a one-season TV show and acted opposite Terrence Stamp in the horror movie Link about intelligent and malicious chimpanzees.
That is a freaky movie. You remember that movie?
I have never seen that movie, but I love Terrence Stamp, and the concept is phenomenal.
Oh, it's a nuts.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
We got to do Monkey Month, and we'll do
We'll
like
have to do that. And
that Matthew Broderick
Project
movie,
X.
And
then
Any Which Way But Loose. Or Dunstan checks in.
not Congo. You don't do Congo.
Or Gold Ape with Tony Danza.
Oh my God!
We could do
I
a
haven't
whole Monkey Month with just Tony Danza. Well, we'll have to do a monkey.
Oh my God! We're gonna have to do this
monkey
now.
year. So many monkeys.
What have we done, Jim?
Too many monkeys.
Adventures in Babysitting was Shue's first lead role.
Good for her.
The Playboy issue shown in the movie was with a centerfold who looks like Chris Parker isn't real. It was just a prop made for the movie. No, Elizabeth Shue was not in Playboy.
No.
No. But they had the photos taken of Shue at the Playboy Mansion. They had her fly from Toronto, where the movie was filmed, to LA for the non-nude photo shoots. She actually kept the prop afterward and still has it. Shue had a long career. She's had a very long career and can most recently be seen in Gen V, reprising her role of Madeline Stillwell from The Boys, and The Good Half, a drama starring Nick Jonas, of all people.
Nice.
Yeah.
She was great in The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
In Gen V.
She was so good. She's so good. She's always good. She's good in everything.
I mean, look, she won an Oscar, right, for Leaving Las Vegas?
Yes, I believe so.
Deservedly so. I mean, she pivoted. She went from being kind of a teen, happy-go-lucky comedy girl. Gal.
Yeah.
I mean, be real degrading. To just an amazing actor. Like, I'm sure she was always an amazing actor, but it's nice to see a lot of these actors who started kind of fluffy bubblegummy get a chance to really flex their muscles in their second and third act and be like, yeah, man, I'm a force.
Yeah, she's so good. She's so good. Keith Coogan was cast as Brad Anderson.
Oh, poor little love-struck Keith Coogan.
Such a dork.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. He's all of us.
I
All of us.
identified so hard with him.
We all were there. Oh, God. But his... Oof. Poor little humiliated boy.
Oh, it was bad. Coogan was born Keith Mitchell, but changed his name to Coogan in 1986, 2 years after the death of his grandfather, Jackie Coogan, who started acting in 1921 with Charlie Chaplin in The Kid.
Yeah, because he was like, look, you little pissade, you better not use my name to get into the business, or I'll haunt you. You better wait till I die, or I'll come after you. And he's like, all right, I'll wait 2 years until after you're dead.
All right.
And then I'll have a career.
That was in his will. It was exactly 2 years to the day. As a child, Keith appeared in episodes of
Little House on the Prairie, The Waltons, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, Eight is Enough, Knight Rider, Growing Pains, Silver Spoons, Fame, and Chips.
Coogan appeared in a few movies before pausing his career to go to high school.
That kid was a staple.
He was in everything.
Always around.
Always. He was a good actor, and he was young.
Little guy, And when he was even younger, he was very much like a real kid. Like, he looked like a kid, sounded like a kid. He wasn't super cute.
No, he was the kid next door.
He's awkward and weird.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. He was in The Fox and the Hound in 1981, the Disney movie, voicing young Todd.
Young Todd with 1D.
1D. All Summer in a Day, based on the Ray Bradbury short story, an episode of Wonderworks, the PBS show in 1982.
He's killing it, bro. He's killing it.
Killing it. $1 Million Infield, also in 1982, a TV movie starring Bonnie Bedelia and Rob Reiner.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen it. I'm sure it's available on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, skip it.
The same year he was in Adventures in Babysitting, he was in Hiding Out, the John Cryer film about a Wall Street broker hiding out in high school.
I effing love that movie. That is such a guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Much like Adventures in Babysitting, that movie was on all the time.
Oh,
and
my God.
It was always double features of Adventures in Babysitting and Hiding Out with Maxwell Hauser and John Cryer. It was so bizarre.
You got your Coogan double feature.
Oh, my God.
But, oh, man, that movie is so dumb. And it was so, weird seeing Ducky as, like, the cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, this was, again, God, they have done so many adults going back to high school. There's so many just unhappy, frustrated, butt-hurt writers who did not get the high school experience that they wanted.
Yeah.
Now it's just, let's go revisit, and we'll go back and change everything.
Yeah.
Looking at you, never been kissed.
I was just going to say.
Or, Jesus, I mean, we could spend all day
so
going
many
through titles. Yeah.
21 Jump Street?
Oh, yeah, baby.
In 1991, Coogan was in another high school comedy, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, starring Christina Applegate.
Dish is done, man.
Coogan can most recently be seen in the 2024 remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, making a cameo along with 2 other actors from the original movie.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Such a stupid movie.
Yeah.
I love it, though. I mean,
no,
it
it's
is
another
a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
But the arc of Coogan's character in that is just, I'm a stoner, man. I mean, like the most stereotypical stoner ever. It's like if AI created a stoner from stereotypes. That would what it, to turn that into, I'm going to be a chef, man. Look at me, I can cook. And then he goes to chef school or something. I don't know.
Yeah, did you know that the movie Burnt with Bradley Cooper is actually a sequel to Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
Is it really?
No.
Well, I wouldn't put it past Bradley Cooper.
Anthony Rapp was cast as Daryl Coopersmith. I cannot think of a more white name than Daryl Coopersmith.
I am Daryl Coopersmith. I am your accountant.
Just them at the chop shop introducing themselves.
Well, yeah, why are you giving your last
Coogan,
name?
Shut up.
Yeah, Keith Coogan.
Shut up.
Hi, this is Chris Parker, and I am Brad Anderson, and this is my friend Daryl Coopersmith, and my sister,
Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah Anderson.
So Anthony Rapp started his career on Broadway in 1981 at the age of 10.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Adventures in Babysitting was Rapp's feature film debut. He actually dyed his naturally blonde hair red for the movie because the producers were concerned his blonde hair would remind audiences too much of Anthony Michael Hall.
Well, him removing any sort of charm from the character kind of divorced himself from that comparison.
I could totally see Anthony Michael Hall doing the Keith Coogan character, like kind of being in that vein, you know?
But he could have done both, really.
He could have, yeah.
I mean, the kid was a powerhouse.
He was. Anthony Michael Hall is amazing. Rapp would go on to originate the role of Mark in Rent in 1996. He would play the role again in the film version 9 years later in 2005, also directed by Chris Columbus.
We gotta get that Rapp kid back.
And is possibly one of the worst movies ever made.
I've never seen it.
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's just not, I'm not a huge fan of the musical.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice.
It's of its time.
I did the whole, like, sitting in line waiting for the front row stuff. I did that twice, once in LA, once when I was in college.
Ugh.
Yeah, trust me, sitting outside at 3 in the morning on...
What was her name, Adam?
Yeah, it was the person I dated for a long time.
Yeah, it sure was. It wasn't you, was it?
I mean, I will tell you, the play, or the musical, like, being up front in the front row to Broadway musical was awesome.
Of course.
Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah, the spectacle.
Yeah. And it was cool, like, hanging out with everybody in line for, like, 8 hours, like, getting to know everybody, and then leaving and then coming back, and it was like, oh my God, I haven't seen it. But anyway, the musical itself is fine. The movie version is one of the worst directed things I've ever seen. It single-handedly made me hate Chris Columbus for a long time.
That's a biggie.
Yeah. And it makes me sad because he's written some great movies. He's directed some great movies.
Oh, he has. He's done his work, Adam.
But
he sounds like a DJ when he talks.
Rapp has had a long career, most notably in Star Trek Discovery, appearing in 65 episodes.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
he's really good in that, actually.
I don't think I've actually watched Star Trek Discovery yet.
Oh, man, they just unceremoniously killed that show.
Oh,
it's
no.
kind of just disappeared. It was a good show. Tig Notaro was really good in that.
I didn't even realize she was in it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Skinny McGee, the guy that does all the creature work.
Doug Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, he was in it too?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, okay.
It was good.
Right.
But I didn't watch the last season, so I'm part of the problem.
I heard it kind of went off the rails a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't watched it.
It took some risks, and look, honestly, Star Trek needs to take some risks, and that's why the Strange New World, is that the
Yes.
That show is the best Star Trek show
Right,
in a long
right.
time. If not my favorite Star Trek show since the original, because it's just so much. It's just got that fun, feel of the.
It feels like the original. The TOS,
because it's in the same time. It's before the original.
Right.
Telling the story
It's
of
the
Captain
first.
Pike,
Yeah.
the original captain of the USS Enterprise.
I don't even know if that show is coming back or not.
It is.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're not dumb. They know that they got a hit with that one.
Okay. Rapp started the ultimate downfall of Kevin Spacey, of all people. In 2017, Rapp was the first to accuse him of a sexual misconduct in 1986 during the #MeToo movement.
Yeah.
Sadly, Rapp received a lot of shit for his accusations, despite 14 more people going on to accuse Spacey of sexual misconduct.
Being the first person is so brave. It is so unbelievably brave to come out against somebody so powerful.
Yeah.
In whether it's Hollywood or Silicon Valley or whatever.
So beloved, so revered for their talent.
Oh yeah, Academy Award winning. People love him. He's one of like
working. Yeah, I mean, he took over I think it was the Royal Shakespeare Society in London.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was so. I mean, I interviewed Kevin Spacey and I thought he was a really nice guy.
Did he touch your wiener?
No, he did not touch my wiener, Jim.
All right, I'm just asking.
There were too many people around.
Okay. It just sucks.
But
it sucks.
This is proof of why people don't come forward with this stuff, because like you accuse somebody and then suddenly you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Rapp and Spacey were both appearing on Broadway at the time. In 1986, Spacey invited Rapp to a party and forced himself upon him at the end of the night when Spacey was very drunk.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, when he wasn't convicted.
No, I mean there was no charges. It was far too statute of limitations.
Right,
it was far too long. Spacey was 26 at the time and Rapp was 14.
Good God.
So Rapp sued him for $40 million in 2020 in civil court after New York extended the statute of limitations for rape. But in 2022, a jury found Spacey not liable.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I don't know if it's all been publicly released or not.
Because his Q factor was higher than Rapp's.
I guess.
People are idiots.
They are. Rapp can most recently be seen in his off-Broadway one-man show based on his memoirs.
Nice. Look, the kid's a great actor. And
Fantastic actor.
And he's been going since he was a baby boy. And I just feel so badly that he had to go through that. And even worse, I'm so tired of people, pushing this crap under the rug and denying it. And
it needs to be brought to light.
There needs to be consequences, for Christ's sake. If not, the shit just keeps going on.
Yeah. It really sucks to have your heroes turn out to be monsters.
Yeah.
But
looking at you, Bill Cosby.
I'm looking at you, Neil Gaiman.
Oh, yeah. God damn, there's so many.
God, it got so much worse today.
Stay strong, Harrison Ford. Please.
Harrison Ford's fine. He's not like that.
No.
Yeah, Maia Brewton was cast as Sarah Anderson, the little sister.
She was great.
Brewton started acting at the age of 7, making appearances in Blue Thunder, Matt Houston, and Trapper John M.D. between 1984 and 1985.
All shows Jim watched. So I don't know why I watched Trapper John M.D., by the way.
I don't remember Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder was based
on... Was it a cop show?
No. Blue Thunder, there was this movie called Blue Thunder with Roy Scheider and the dude from Home Alone. Not Joe Pesci, but...
the other...
Yeah.
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern.
Okay.
So they were flying this experimental helicopter.
Oh,
that
okay.
could, go silent. And
okay, now that you're saying this sounds very familiar.
Right. So it was a modest hit. I really enjoyed the movie because I was a huge Schneider head back then.
Yeah.
Roy Scheider.
Scheiderhead?
I was a Scheider head. I was a Scheidi. A Scheider. No. So they made a series with Ben Gazzara or somebody. I forget that it kind of a lookalike, and so it ran for a season or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember her being on it, but I watched everything that was on TV back then.
I don't remember Matt Houston either.
Oh God,
was that a lawyer show?
No, I think Matt Houston. He was played by Lee Horsley.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he was I think he was he was a wealthy Texan, and he moves to California to run the family business and dabble in crime solving.
Oh, okay. So he was like a PI. Yeah.
Yeah, around the time where it was all these super rich people just dabbling in PI work, like Heart to Heart.
Right.
And,
it's my side hobby.
But I had such a talent crush on Lee Horsley. And he did this awful movie that I absolutely adore. I think it was called Sword and Sorcery.
Oh,
and
really?
The only thing I remember is they crucify him.
Oh, God.
And he pulls the nails out with his hands and then pulls the nails out and somehow was able to
just
grip a
walks
sword
around
and was able to do stuff. But yeah, oh, man. Matt Houston.
I feel like there was an actor, a lady that was in that we talked about at some point.
Pamela Hensley? She was the star.
Yeah. Somebody. Anyway.
We talked about Lincoln Kilpatrick.
Oh, yes.
He was a star in that. Buddy Epson was also in it.
Oh, Buddy Epson.
Yeah, Buddy Epson. He was Uncle Roy. Woo, howdy.
So Maia Brewton also appeared as Lorraine's younger sister in Back to the Future in 1985.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, she only had like one or two lines. I mean, it was during the like dinner scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about the convict, the little baby. And
Yeah,
the
the baby and I better get used to
Get
those.
used to that, you jailbird asshole.
Brewton would later appear in a handful of TV shows after Adventure and Babysitting, and then landed a role in 1990 in Parker Lewis Can't Lose, playing Parker's sister.
That show was so great.
I loved that show.
Oh, I think everybody loved that show. It was a great. They had such a unique, awesome visual style that was very much like 3 O'Clock High.
Yeah,
Or early
yeah.
Coen Brothers. Just this kind of kinetic camera movement, and it was so stylized and so fun.
The tone of the show was so spot on.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it was
so good.
It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off taken to the nth degree.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and the kid that starred in that, he was so good. And I remember he was in The Stand playing the pimply gross guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird.
Oh yeah, Harold. I think
Yeah,
he played
Harold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God, I don't remember his name.
Corin Nemec.
Corin Nemec. That's
Yeah.
right, Corin Nemec.
He shows up in some shit. I've seen him recently. He does a lot of like B movies now, like Lake Placid versus Anaconda, Sand Sharks. He was just in Place of Bones in 2024. Oh, he played Ted Bundy.
Oh, in a 2008 thing. I wonder
Yeah.
what that is. That's interesting.
Bundy, A Legacy of Evil.
Yeah, I mean, he's still working, so that's good.
Yeah, I love Corin Nemec, and I forgot she played his sister. And that show, I want to watch that show again.
We'll have to find it somewhere because
Gotta.
that show is so good.
We
It was
have
so
to
good.
do a month of just like Square Pegs and these totally underrated, awesome, groundbreaking shows.
offbeat shows. Yeah, yeah. She appeared in 70 episodes of the show. She had a very good career going, but shortly after the show ended, Brewton retired from acting and attended college, eventually getting a law degree from Yale in 1998.
God, good for her.
Yeah. She's an attorney now. She would get married in 2008, and her wife now have twin boys named Rizzo and Calder.
It's like that is the coolest. Those kids are going to grow up to be a detective agency.
Rizzo and Calder.
That is the greatest name for a detective. Rizzo and Calder, PD. It's like Cagney and Lacey. Oh, I love her so much. That is the coolest.
So awesome. She has made a couple of acting appearances in TV shows since finishing college, but hasn't acted since 2015.
Oh, she is the
Yeah,
best.
but she's an attorney, and she's living her best life.
Yeah, if you need an attorney in the LA area, call
Maia Brewton.
Maia Brewton.
Brewton.
Brewton?
Maia Brewton.
Maia Brewton.
Yeah. Penelope Ann Miller was cast as Brenda.
Oh, yeah.
Miller actually started on Broadway, getting her break in 1985 when she was cast in the lead opposite Matthew Broderick in the Neil Simon play Biloxi Blues.
Yeah, she, all these efforts started on Broadway.
Oh, so many Broadway.
It was a lot easier to break into Broadway as a kid back then.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh, they're all in Annie. Anybody who was vaguely redheaded or blonde they started Annie. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't Lindsay Lohan star in Annie? Or Annie? Annie redheaded was
Possibly.
star of Annie.
Possibly. She would later star with Broderick in the 1988 film version of the play.
Okay.
Yeah. Miller made her film debut in the 1987 film Hot Shots, starring Jim Youngs, Pele, and Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, not the Hot Shots.
No, not with the exclamation point.
Not the one with
Not-
Charlie Sheen.
No.
The comedy.
It was directed and co-written by Rick King, who would go on to co-write Point Break.
This is a soccer movie.
Yeah,
It's about,
yeah.
or football.
Football,
Depending on where you're listening.
Miller would appear in Big Top Pee-wee in 1988 and Dead Bang in 1989. Dead Bang, yet again, we keep talking about Dead Bang.
We're going to have to do it.
This is like the 5th time it's come up.
We're going to have to do like a low rent Don Johnson month.
Oh, man.
With like some of his lessers.
Dead Bang. It's going to be so bad, but I want to see it so much.
I've seen it. I could not tell you a frame.
I am sure I've seen it because it's one of those that was going to be on Cinemax every day.
I also had such a huge crush on Penelope Ann Miller. Such a huge crush
yeah?
on her. Oh my God, yeah. It was mostly from like Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
Kindergarten Cop, and it wasn't so much Adventures Babysitting, of course.
No, but it was a great feature debut. She was really good in this. The whole B storyline was so good.
It was the freshman that made me fall in love with her, because she was so good and different in that movie, playing Brando's daughter.
Right.
God, she was good in that.
In 1990, she would appear in 4 movies. Downtown, directed by Richard Benjamin, starring Anthony Edwards, Forrest Whitaker, and Joey Pants. The Freshman, which Jim just mentioned, starring Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick.
She had great chemistry with Broderick, probably because she knew him since her Broadway days.
Yeah, they'd known each other for quite a while. Awakenings, directed by Penny Marshall and starring Robert De Niro and Robin Williams.
I think that's a movie that's going to Ghostbusters 2 for me.
Awakenings?
I didn't much care for it when it came out.
I sure will. I haven't, granted, I don't think I've seen it in 30 years, but I really liked that movie.
I didn't dislike it, but it just didn't goose me like everybody else.
Yeah. She was also in Kindergarten Cop, directed by Ivan Reitman, starring Arnie Schwarzenegger.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
Which, was she the
teacher?
Was she the teacher?
She was his love interest.
Like love interest, okay. Mm-hmm. God, it's in my mind, I don't see it being her at all.
Yeah, she was also in The Shadow with... the
Alec
Baldwin.
The awful superhero movie.
When they kept trying to make these obscure old superheroes like The Shadow or The Phantom. Remember that with Billy Zane?
Yeah.
Just cool ideas, but
just
soulless crash grabs. She was also in Carlito's Way with Pacino. That was pretty good. It was not a very good movie. I had a lot of high hopes for that.
I've never seen Carlito's Way.
And then The Relic was another big one for her. Horror movie.
The Relic. Yeah. She continues to act, most recently appearing as Nancy Reagan in Reagan.
That's a good
She would be good in that, yeah. And as Joyce Dahmer in Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Basically the same part.
It really is. It really is.
A couple of monsters.
Bradley Whitford was cast as Mike Todwell.
There is nobody at a younger age that is more douchey than Bradley effing Whitford. And then, at an older age, turned into like...
somebody that I want to hang out with.
Yes.
It's crazy. Oh my God, Jim, it's like you.
Oh my God. It is so... I wasn't that douchey.
No.
I still had a little modicum of charm, but my God, I have never seen an actor that has changed. There's very few actors that are such douches that they can overcome the douchiness for me. It's like, once you douche, that's it.
Yeah. But he is, whew.
It just shows what an amazing actor
He's such a talented actor.
And just a clever dude. He's
so
very funny. Very funny. Again, you're right. He's somebody I would love to have dinner with. If you're listening, Bradley,
so weird. Yeah.
Invite me to dinner.
He first appeared on television in the 1985 episode of The Equalizer, followed by a 2-year recurring role on the ABC daytime drama All My Children.
Yeah, he always played a douche.
Oh, yeah. His film debut was the 1986 film Dead as a Doorman, a murder mystery, which sometimes is just titled as Doorman.
Okay, don't know it.
No, it was very low budge. In Adventures in Babysitting, Whitford was allowed to use his own Camaro for the movie. That's right, the Camaro was his, and the license plate, so cool, was the actual license plate Bradley had on his car.
F you, Bradley Whitford. Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God. How much cocaine do you think was in the glove compartment of that car at all times?
Kilo.
Oh, my God. It looked like Bradley Whitford. Bradley Whitford? Looks like Bradley Whitford just ran on cocaine in the 80s. I'm not saying, hey, look, Brad, I know we're going to go out to dinner pretty soon. We'll talk about it. Maybe you didn't do cocaine. Maybe you were just that good an actor.
Yeah. He was supposed to be 21 in this movie, which I found out after I wrote this, not 17. He was supposed to be 21, but he was actually 28.
And he looked 35.
So, yeah.
His receding hairline, it was hard to hide.
Whitford might be best known for his role on The West Wing, appearing in 155 episodes. I also really liked him on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
The kind of like fictionalized version of SNL.
Yeah.
Which with him and Matthew Perry, like there was one scene where they were sitting in a like fake car that was one of the best written things I've ever seen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that was like the only well-written part of that show.
I know. But I liked him in that. I thought the actor was really good.
But yeah. It was just nobody wanted to see a drama about comedy.
No.
That's why we all went to 30 Rock instead of that one.
That Saturday Night movie is coming to streaming here shortly.
I saw that.
Yeah. Whitford can most recently be seen in The Madness, streaming on Netflix.
Nice. I'm glad that he's still working. He's extremely politically active. That's one of the reasons why I love him.
Yeah.
And,
he's so good. Get Out. He was so good in Get Out.
So good.
Everything. Yeah, he's so good.
I can't wait to go to dinner with him and talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Calvin Levels was cast as Joe Gipp.
Joe Gipp!
Levels is best known for his starring role as Wayne Williams, the man convicted of the 1979 to 1981 Atlanta child murders in the TV miniseries The Atlanta Child Murders, broadcast in 1985.
Yeah, I remember that. He was great in that. It was kind of a thin, because it was a TV movie, of course.
Yeah.
But, and Jesus, man, I remember when that was going on.
Yeah.
And again, it took a really long time for them to put it all together because it wasn't much of white kids.
There's a very good possibility that Wayne Williams did not kill anybody.
I know.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Levels had to drastically change his appearance for the film, gaining a ton of weight, which took months to undo.
Yeah, and it was look, he is a very charming dude. Very charming in this movie.
He's so good in this movie.
Instantly likable.
I wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, I don't care that you're a car thief. I just want to chill.
If this movie was 30 years older, might have been a love interest.
Actually,
couldn't have been
true.
back then, of course.
Yeah, no.
Oh boy. But no, that guy, he is a guy that you totally recognize because he showed up in a bunch of stuff. But again, a really good actor that didn't quite hit it.
Yeah,
like he should have.
never really caught on to the one part that people were like, oh, Calvin Levels.
Yeah, and it's like, well, yeah, he did play Wayne Williams, but that's really not the part.
No, no.
That you want to. The serial killer guy. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So he has appeared in
Johnny Swede in the Heat of the Night, the TV show, Point of No Return, Hellbound, The Watcher, 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, and Skyscraper.
Hellbound, the great movie with Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Yeah, I kick him in the nuts. I kick everybody in hell in the nuts.
It was written by it's essentially the same team that did Top Dog. So listen to our Top Dog episode.
Yeah, and then you don't ever have to watch another.
Just pretend it's hell instead of dog, and then it's essentially that's it.
I am the worst actor in the world.
And I think Skyscraper was his last movie. It was when they were trying to make Anna Nicole Smith a action star.
Yeah, this was Die Hard with the Playboy Playmate. Oh my God.
So bad.
I feel so badly for Anna Nicole Smith and her daughter. That woman was so manipulated and completely destroyed by others. That poor girl was just naive and not too smart and just was,
it was very unfortunate.
Oh my God, what happened to her was tragedy.
Yeah. Levels retired from acting in 2003. He's 75 now. He's retired. He's still around.
I'll have dinner with him too.
He
Give
just
me a call,
decided
Calvin.
I don't know where he lives, but he's around.
All right.
I would love to sit down and chat with him. It would be great.
You can, Calvin, why don't you come to dinner with me and Bradley? Adam, you can come too.
Okay, great, thanks.
And then it'll be a nice little reunion. You guys can swap stories about what it was like working on Adventures in Babysitting.
They did not share any scenes.
Well, they still worked on the movie.
They did, I know. It's just funny. So you did the thing. Yeah, okay.
We've actually never met.
Yeah, that would be really funny. George Newbern was cast as Dan Lynch, a college student.
Yeah, college student.
Knight in shining armor who comes and saves them at the end.
He was the proto Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
he was the first attempt at Paul Rudd before they made Paul Rudd.
He was an incredibly handsome dude.
Oh my God, beautiful blue eyes.
Beautiful eyes. Nice cut chin. Like he's
We have a friend who is the exact mix of George Newbern and
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah. He definitely has that look.
We're looking at you, Mark.
Newbern is best known for appearing in 65 episodes of Scandal from 2012 to 2018.
Oh, yeah.
He also appeared in Father of the Bride in 1991, along with the sequels Father of the Bride Part 2 in 1995.
He was the groom.
He was, that's right. Mm-hmm. And Father of the Bride Part 3-ish, a short film which was made in 2020.
Okay.
Which I think it kind of tied up the movie. I never actually saw that part. I remember when it came out because I think it came out during the lockdown. Newman wrote occasionally for television in the 1980s. He shared the 1984 Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series with Tom Fontana and John Mazius for an episode of the show St. Elsewhere. He received a second Emmy nomination in 1985 for his TV adaptation of his play Men Need Help, which I believe was just like a TV movie.
No, don't we all? Yeah, we do.
Actually, might have been on PBS. Anyway, his acting credits are much more focused on the stage. He appeared in 1990 at the Actors Playhouse in New York in his own play, Talking Things Over with Chekhov, in which he played a playwright who comes home one night to find Anton Chekhov sitting in his rocking chair.
Oh, God, that must be the most boring night of his life. Let me tell you about my plays. Let's read them.
Do you have a gun?
Do you have vodka? For me, let's talk about let's talk about sisters and brothers and family in Russia.
No, let's not.
God, get out.
Let's just drink as much vodka as possible.
I know you're
pretend this
dead,
didn't
but
happen.
just get out.
Sadly, Noonan died at the Lillian Booth Actors Home in Inglewood, New Jersey on December 16th, 2018 at the age of 77 from heart failure.
Too young, and it always breaks my heart when people die in homes. But I'm hoping that old actors' homes, maybe they get to put on skits. I don't know. Maybe they have a better
maybe
time.
they're still acting. Maybe they, at least they're around people that they're in the industry that they knew or can talk about stuff with.
You were the West, Noonan. Your play's blue. What are you talking about? You know nothing.
Vincent D'Onofrio was cast as Dawson. He owned the car shop.
Yeah, Dawson's.
Dawson's.
He also
Dawson's
owned a creek.
Machinery. He did. It's lesser known at this time. Yeah.
That was a show, Adam. Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. D'Onofrio made his feature film debut in The First Turn On, a horny teen screwball comedy from Lloyd Kaufman that helped establish Troma Entertainment.
It was one of the worst movies ever made.
All four of the movies, I went into a weird rabbit hole with Troma, but the first four movies were literally just made to make Troma legit.
Yeah.
That was it. They didn't care quality. They didn't care about anything.
Oh, that did not change, Adam. I'm sorry.
Just before Adventures in Babysitting, D'Onofrio was in Full Metal Jacket, gaining 70 pounds for the role and coming off a complete knee reconstruction from an injury he received while filming the movie.
Parts are pretty much the same.
Yeah. He was at 210 pounds, gained 70 pounds for that role, and I'm pretty sure he went down to like 150 for this.
I would, because he's a tall dude.
Maybe,
I'd say probably
maybe
about
like
180.
180. But still, though, he definitely went down lower than he was when he started gaining weight.
Well, you could see it in his face. It didn't look like he did it a healthy way. 'Cause
No.
His body looked great, but his face looked like he was suffering from some sort of
But
rickets or something.
He did have a year. They started shooting Full Metal Jacket in like August of '85 in London, and they finished in January of '86. And then he shot this movie in January of '87.
Oh, okay.
For a few months, so he had a year to do it. But a year, 130 pounds in a year, that's still too much.
But he just did it. I don't think that he got this role a year.
No, he was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to get back to.
Because it would be pretty impressive if it was like, I'm going to be on screen for 6 seconds. I'll get in total shape. I'll look like Thor.
It just, yeah.
But he did. He looked great, man.
He
was great. He was really good.
He had the gravity of his, especially the entrance of him coming down on the.
Pretty nice. Very music video entrance. Very MTV. But but again, it was one of those, oh, you owe me $5. I'm never going to do anything. I'm a jerk.
He was so mad.
Oh, yeah.
And then he wasn't.
$5. And then he was, as we all were, just won over by Sarah Anderson, played by Maia Brewton.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forgot your helmet. That's why you're being so mean.
Yeah.
No, I'm being so mean because I hate you. Now get the F out and give me $5.
No, because I need to feed my kids.
This movie had miraculous turnarounds. It
did.
In 6 seconds, people changed their views and their minds.
Yeah, like when they went in to sing the blues, like people looked at them as like, oh, you're a bunch of white kids. And
We're going to kill those white
kids.
kids.
Oh, actually, you're pretty good at singing the blues.
No, you're not.
D'Onofrio has been in a ton of movies and TV shows, and we'll talk more about him when he's not just in one scene for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
He will be seen in the upcoming film Caught Stealing from Charlie Huston, starring Austin Butler as Hank Thompson, adapted by Charlie Huston and directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Really excited about that. I'm on the fence about Austin Butler.
I like Austin Butler a lot more than you do.
I don't dislike Austin Butler.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's right for that part.
That I agree with. Originally, it was when it was first set up in 2012, like shortly after the book came out. It was
Brad Pitt, wasn't it?
No, not Brad Pitt. It was originally it was Patrick Wilson, which I was like, okay, because I was working at a. I remember when that script was going around because the international film sales agency I was working for at the time got the script, and I begged them to pick it up for international. I was like, the book is so good. Like, I love Charlie Huston.
Yeah,
Caught Stealing was my first foray into Charlie Huston, and he's so good.
Yeah.
And I begged them to pick it up, and then they were like, whatever. Like, it needs to be developed more before we can get there. And then it went away, and then Aronofsky apparently found interest in it. It was like, all right, let's do this.
I'm really excited for him to be directing it. So that's a big plus.
And they're setting it in the 90s, which is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, but it also stars Zoe Kravitz, Regina King, Matt Smith, Liev Schreiber, Bad Bunny, Griffin Dunn, and Carol Kane. Yeah. So it's going to be a huge movie.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do it justice.
I'm excited about it. Clark Johnson was the gang leader.
Blew my mind.
That almost broke into song.
Oh, he almost stabbed our little boy.
He did stab the little boy. He got one stitch.
Oh, he did stab a little boy.
He did. He threw it into his foot. Johnson was actually in the Canadian police crime drama Night Heat, appearing in 18 episodes over 3 seasons while he shot Adventures in Babysitting.
Okay, look, we're here from the police. Okay, if you feel like it, could you put your hands up, please? Because we need to arrest you. We're real sorry about it. We're sorry. But you did do something wrong, so we're going to have to bring you in. You'll be fed, and we'll take care of you. Okay, thank you so much for cooperating. End the show.
From everything that I read about Night Heat, it was really gritty. It was like kind of a forerunner of the American police procedurals that came
He was on Homicide.
Yeah, that he is best known for appearing in 122 episodes of Homicide: Life on the Street as Detective Meldrick Lewis.
Oh, Meldrick, man. Oh, my God. Every time we talk about that show, I just want to watch it again. It is such a good show.
I need to watch it.
It's streaming on Peacock,
Peacock?
I think.
Okay.
But, dude, I mean, Andre Braugher, Ned Beatty.
Yeah, so many good actors.
You got Munch, who was on it. That was the beginning of Munch.
Munch, yeah. Who was on 55 different shows.
Richard
Belzer, yeah. Johnson actually also directed 5 episodes of Homicide: Life on the Street during his time.
Yeah, he was great.
He started directing in 1993 with TV and a couple of features. He directed the first and last episode of The Shield, along with others, the first episodes of the first and second season of Sleeper Cell, and also directed episodes of
NYPD Blue, The West Wing, Third Watch, The Wire, Homeland, and Luke Cage.
He was also acted in 10 episodes of The Wire and was nominated for an Emmy for directing an episode of The Shield.
Yeah, he is a really good TV director.
Amazing. Yeah.
He does great work. And he's also a great actor, too. He had a huge talent crush on that MFer. And he was one of my absolute favorite characters on Homicide.
Yeah.
His character was unbelievable. He always wore like a pork pie hat. It was very
cool. Oh, that's okay. That is who I was thinking. Okay. I've never seen Homicide, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
I think he was Ned Beatty's partner for a while. I don't know.
Johnson also directed some feature films, SWAT in 2003, which was not very good.
Nope.
The Sentinel in 2006, which actually had a bunch of... it actually sounded really good, but I don't think the movie was any good. It had a
like
good
I
cast.
said, he's a very good TV director. Yeah. But I'm like, look, the SWAT is a... There's no way to make that a good movie.
No.
It wasn't even that good a TV show.
No.
I love that TV show because they used M16s.
Right.
I liked guns back then.
Right, you liked guns. He also directed Juanita in 2019 and Percy in 2020.
Is that about Percy Sledge?
Yep.
Nice.
Percy Sledge and the Sledgehammers. Yep. Johnson will be seen in the upcoming film Mayday, starring Ryan Reynolds, coming to Apple TV Plus sometime in 2025.
What's that about?
It's an action-adventure movie. Right. I don't know the actual plotline.
Well, I'm glad he's still working. I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah, he's still doing stuff. I'm sure he's still directing, too. A couple of the main actors had siblings appear in the film. Adam Rapp, Anthony's older brother, plays one of the Red Vest gang members, appearing in the subway, holding a long metal bar, wearing a blue bandana around his head.
Yeah, he's tough.
It's right next to Clark Johnson. Yeah.
I'll have to look at that.
He's so lily white. It's so funny.
I'm going to get you.
I had to go back and pause it because I was like, really? But yeah, he's in it. He's actually a playwright and screenwriter, most recently writing for Dexter: New Blood.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've been watching that.
Yeah, he has had a bunch of plays made. Like he took the writing side while his brother did the acting.
Okay.
Yeah. Andrew Shue, Elizabeth's younger brother, makes an appearance as a guy at the frat party.
Ugh.
He would go on to star in Melrose Place and would play professional soccer.
Yeah, and there was some horrible scandal of him being cheated on.
Oh, was there?
By his wife or something.
Oh, no.
Okay, you remember the Amy Robach, T.J. Holmes whole thing?
No.
The two newscasters?
Okay.
And they got fired because they were having an affair?
Oh.
She was...
married to him?
To
oh, no.
Andrew Shue, yeah.
Oh, no. That sucks.
That's the only news that Andrew Shue has had about him since Melrose Place, and that's so sad.
Two notable musicians also make cameos in the movie. Albert Collins, as we discussed, the blues guitarist who won't let anyone leave without singing the blues.
Yeah, ain't nobody leave without singing the blues.
His long association with the Fender Telecaster led to the title...
The Master of the Telecaster.
He's so good, though. God, he's so good.
He was amazing. He was having a great time. It's just sad that scene is just so tone deaf.
Oh, my God. It's so bad.
I mean, so tone deaf.
Yeah. The movie also had Southside Johnny as the band leader at the frat party. Southside Johnny has long been considered the grandfather of...
the New Jersey Sound, which just I did not know that. I thought Southside Johnny was from the South Side of Chicago.
I thought he was from Chicago, too. I agree. In fact, he's so New Jersey that John Bon Jovi has acknowledged Southside Johnny as his
reason for singing.
Yeah. Southside Johnny.
Well, thanks a lot, Southside Johnny.
I just remember all those frat parties I went to where we just hire a live band to play in the living room.
Well, not just a live band, but a bunch of middle-aged dudes coming into a
which you know are
teenagers.
Trying to bang all the teenagers.
Oh, God,
it's
so gross.
Creepy.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was always look. I went to school with some Richies.
Yeah,
they never had live bands at their parties.
No. Who did that? Who does that?
I don't know.
Yeah, nobody.
John Hughes.
Yeah, I guess. Principal photography began in Toronto on January 5th, 1987. Many of the scenes shot there doubled for the film setting of Chicago. Although they did shoot some stuff in Chicago, too. They did come do exteriors in Chicago.
Well, there's some things you can't cheat.
Yeah. The city of Toronto kept their streets extremely clean. Production had found an alley that was very dirty and wanted to use it for the shoot. Just before they set up for shooting, the Toronto Sanitation Department came in and cleaned up the alley, making the art department scramble to find trash.
Jesus.
In fact, the Toronto Sanitation Department was so diligent that the production had to station guards to keep them from cleaning alleyways they were shooting in.
Excuse me, eh? Excuse me. Sorry. We got to get in there to clean up that alley, eh? We like to keep Canada a really clean and wonderful place. Oh, you're American? Never mind.
I can just see him walking up and being like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, there's trash behind you."
Oh, look, I'm doing my job,
I need to get that trash.
I'm just cleaning the trash, eh? What's your problem, eh? Come on. I'm just doing my job, eh? Quit hassling me.
Do you remember when the tow truck driver hits the lawn jockey after reaching the house?
In which movie?
He knocks the lawn jockey down. And in this movie, knocking over lawn jockeys later became a running joke in Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yeah, it was a subtle statement against racism.
Yeah, I mean, hey, there's
one
of them in the movie.
I would like to think so. Yes, that doesn't make up for everything, no. Chris Columbus.
Brenda's coat is from Hemingway High School. Despite the school being fictitious, Ernest Hemingway was born and raised in Oak Park, Illinois, where the movie starts and ends.
It would be hard to name your high school after somebody who blew his brains out with a shotgun.
Yeah, well, he was a good writer.
And that's, strangely enough, that was like the picture, the school seal. Was Hemingway with a shotgun and
a freeze frame
yes.
of the brains flying out.
And the brain spelled out Hemingway
High School.
The splatter behind him.
If you look real close at the coat, you can see it.
You can see the insignia. Yeah. It was weird.
The film would go on to receive $34.4 million at the box office. I couldn't find any budget numbers. I don't know how much they spent on it.
That's weird.
My guess is that it did not. There's been a few movies that they haven't released the budgets.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You would think by now some sleuth would find it.
I don't know. I mean, it must not have been writing anywhere. I mean, or released at least.
It's got to be around 5 to 10.
I would probably say
tops.
Probably 10, 11. That would be my guess. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave Adventures in Babysitting 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Oh.
He cited the Blues Club sequence as the movie's best scene, but criticized the film for not doing more with its black characters. He thought it was the best scene. I'm sorry.
All right. This is going to sound weird, but I have a theory. Look, he was married to a black woman.
He was.
And he was overly apologetic white guy kind of way.
He wanted to be black? Is that what you're saying?
I think that he was softer on some African-American things.
Do you think that he thought he was an African-American born in a Caucasian-American's body?
I do not. I do not, but I think he was a Caucasian that liked being in an African-American's body, his wife. So he...
oh, man.
So he was,
wah, wah.
Made his reviews known. But it was, if you look at it, I think,
No, he did, yeah. He said the movie had...
good raw material, but too many unrealized possibilities.
Also, the fact that it was set in Chicago, probably it was like, no, I'm gonna like this movie because it's Chicago.
But I will, I think that's a good take on it.
I agree with him. Yes, I definitely agree with him. I don't agree that the Blues Club sequence was the movie's best scene.
No, it's the worst. But that's the thing. Like, the first 2 acts of this movie are very slow and meandering. The pacing is weird. The dialogue's weird. There's no real chemistry between anybody in the cast.
No.
Not the kids. Of course, Maia Brewton has chemistry with everybody.
Yeah.
But Shue and Coogan and Rapp, no chemistry.
Which, I mean, honestly, kind of makes sense. Like, she didn't want to be there.
Sure.
And like, they're kind of annoying kids, and like, but does not make for good movie watching.
But what I mean is there wasn't a playful back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't need to like each other for chemistry.
Yeah.
It's just there's magic when those people are on screen together, whether they're
Right.
fighting or effing or whatever they're doing.
Right.
But I think that the beginning of this movie, it just was a weird setup. Anytime you start a movie with the lead actor lip syncing to,
an old Motown
an
song.
old Motown song for 5 minutes, but that's how we all got ready in the 80s. We all put on our song.
I had to.
We had our choreographed dance moves.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody was late, because we all had to do our little dance getting ready thing. It was
She
rigor.
was so excited about her anniversry with Mike Todwell.
She was,
So excited.
because he's so cool.
If Mike Todwell was smart, that was probably going to be the night.
I would have died to have a girl like her, and you have her, and you treat her like dirt when you're with you.
I also really like the fact that he was like, I would hit you, but I'm better than that. And then Anthony Rapp Daryl's like, I'm not, and kicks him. And nobody at the table he lands on has any. They're just like, oh, this happened.
I didn't order this.
Who ordered the middle-aged white guy? Send it back. Send it back. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune rated the film 3 out of 4 stars, calling it
A genial, warm-hearted romp.
He praised the performances of the young cast and called Elizabeth Shue,
Earnestly appealing.
but criticized the movie for a lack of...
Social awareness.
Yeah, so Siskel wasn't the only one who had issues with the social awareness in the movie. A lot of op-eds came out about how poorly the movie portrays minorities.
You think?
The LA Daily News' John H. Richardson wrote,
It's all so stupid. These ultra-suburban white kids seem to never have been outside their yards, much less to the big bad city. Worse, the filmmakers seem to share their naivete. To them, the city seems to mean black car thieves, black blues musicians, ethnic street gangs, mafiosi, and teenage hookers.
Richardson also derided the film for its treatment of the homeless.
With 40,000 homeless on the streets of LA, you'd think they could find something better to make bad jokes about.
Yeah, they did not do a very nice job of portraying homeless people in Chicago.
No, the whole sequence with her, look, part of me would like to give them some sort of credit, and I'm looking at the bus station through the eyes of the frightened Penelope Ann Miller.
Yes.
So this isn't really what's happening.
Yes.
The dude with the gun.
Constantly just showing the gun like that. Come on.
Ridiculous. And then get out of my house. And then it's another homeless person's house. The phone booth.
the lady that steals the glasses.
Yes, and then gets the glasses stolen. It's just all so goofy and insulting. And it's also the kids going into the blues club. Like I said, man, all of these people, these working class, hardworking people that just want to go have a few drinks, listen to some blues, get away from the crap of the world. These privileged, rich little suburbanites come in and they're like,
Yes, what a horrible lot life you have with the Babysitter's Blues.
high-fiving all the way out. It was so tone deaf. It's
It
so
was just
utterly
so
insulting. If I was a black
weird.
person watching this movie, I would have walked out. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
F you.
Yeah. Yeah. In Adventures in Babysitting pilot starring Jennifer Guthrie, Brian Austin Green, and Joey Lawrence was broadcast in 1989 with 9.7 million people watching it, but it wasn't picked up.
I probably watched it.
Yeah, it's one of those they used to do this a lot back in the day where they would show pilots like late in the summer trying to get people to see what kind of like viewership they would get, and then like, well, maybe we'll pick it up, maybe we won't.
They do mid-season replacements where they show something on for a few episodes, or they would just, like you said, dump it on the summer.
Yeah, just to see if it gets traction, and then maybe we'll pick it up for mid-season or, whatever.
Because back in the day, there was no new programming during the summer.
No,
that was all reruns. That was the one time that you might be able to catch the episode of Happy Days that you missed if they run it.
Right, if.
It was a big crapshoot, man. TV was hard. You kids don't know how easy you have it. But and they would throw these shows on during the summer and it would be misleading because, yes, they would get traction because there was nothing else new.
Right.
But then when they put them up against people's favorite
like
shows.
actual shows, yeah.
Death.
The film was also rebooted as a Disney Channel original movie in 2016, starring Sabrina Carpenter and Sophia Carson, starring as competing babysitters.
Okay. Did you watch that?
No. No, I've heard it was not very good. It got very low ratings.
I've heard Sabrina Carpenter. She does that song, Espresso. The only reason why I know it is because on Saturday Night Live, they did a bit where they made fun of that song with Ariana Grande.
Oh, really?
They do this recurring bit with this woman and her gal pals. Make up different songs. And so I was like, wow. And they sing it so badly. It's really funny because they're all very tone deaf, and it's a very funny skit. But that's the only reason why I know that song. And I'm like, oh, that song sounds familiar. I had no idea that was a real song. I thought maybe it was like a Grande song. And then I saw Sabrina Carpenter, who I kind of tangentially know.
Yeah.
That's a singer maybe, and maybe was a child star. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's the song. It's awful. But I have no idea who Sophia Carson is.
No idea. It was just a Disney Channel movie. I think they both were younger Disney Channel actors.
Disney Channel?
Disney.
Is that the pedophile channel?
Yep. That's the alternate world Disney Channel, the Disney Channel. It's literally the exact same programming. You're just allowed to masturbate to it.
I'm fucking 12 years old. Oh, shit. So the Disney Channel.
I think they were just Disney Channel stars that they pulled into this movie to try to do it. Everything I saw, it had very low ratings. So.
I would really like to see, honestly, I would like to see, and take it darker. Take it to like more after hours, like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like child sex trafficking and
like Daryl dies.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Comedy.
Yeah. No, but something that's just a little bit more, the stakes are higher.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I never really felt that the stakes were that high. I mean, they tried to with the play. I mean, it was all so convoluted with the Playboy mix up. Oh, I brought the Playboy, and then he throws the Playboy out of the thing, and oh, here's the Playboy, and got to get the Playboy back because we're idiots and we only wrote our plans on our effing Playboy
on a fold out centerfold.
Again, convoluted. The bad guys were too goofy to be intimidating.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like the moment they kind of got into some sort of trouble or some sort of until the third act, and this is why the third act moved really well.
Yeah.
The resolutions were like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we need the car. Oh, here comes a guy to help. Oh, we're in this thing. Oh, here comes this. So everything, the solutions to the problems were just too easy and too quick.
Right.
And then when we get to the third act, there's just too many problems to solve that quickly. And then it gets into this ridiculous thing of Maia Brewton climbing out onto the ledge of a building.
Why? I mean, poor Ron Canada. He's just like, it got to the point where he was like, I don't even want to do anything to you anymore. You're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, please come back.
And they leave him down
there.
there.
I am going to feel awful forever. Yeah, and then he climbs out, which is even stupider, and then he's there forever.
Yeah. He's there today. He's still there. His bones are still up on that building in Chicago.
Please help.
Yeah. But it's not, there is no point in trying to rationalize or deconstruct or find any sort of hidden meaning or anything in this movie. It is just pure dumb fun.
Yes, it is just a bunch of things happening. Fish out of water, these kids. Everything seems to go their way.
A very mediocre movie that is brought up by the pure charm of Elizabeth Shue.
Yes, agreed.
Elizabeth Shue makes this movie, and Calvin Levels, and Penelope Ann Miller.
And Maia Brewton.
And, of course, Maia Brewton.
Yeah.
And even Keith Coogan, all the kids, Anthony Rapp, I will have to say, did get likable by the end. Like
he did.
He came around,
He actually had a bit of an arc, which is surprising.
He did. And to his credit, the reason why we hate him so much is he did such a good job playing that character.
He did. He really did.
He nailed it. And the problem is, it's same with Bradley Whitford. If you nail that type of character that well, then it's hard for people not to see you
right
like that. And that's the blessing and the curse of being such a great actor.
I will say that Keith Coogan, his character did have a little bit of
he had an arc.
An arc too, yeah. Because he was madly in love with Elizabeth Shue. Obsessed.
Yeah. She was an object to him.
Yes. I'm sure in his mind he was madly in love with her.
Right. But for a movie in the 80s to have somebody come to the realization of a woman being an object to a person was kind of rare.
Yeah.
It was usually the other way around.
Yeah, sadly.
Oh, take off your glasses and now you're pretty.
Yeah, it was done well. I mean, I enjoy this movie. It definitely has some issues.
Sure.
Very much Remo Williams, like, whew, what were you guys thinking?
It's Home Alone 2, pacing-wise and story-wise. But because it's something different and it has such a unique cast, John Ford Noonan is great in this movie.
He's so good in this.
So weird and unexpected and strange. And when he comes back and saves them, it's great. And it makes sense because that stuff all makes sense, right?
That's so great. The guy's like, "You guys stole my car," and out of nowhere, John, beautiful pretty boy Pruitt or whatever, comes flying in and
Johnny.
body checks him, and he's like, "Hey, babysitter, I got your car."
But just the goofy thing on the train with Clark Johnson, and also I just want to mention really, really quickly, this blew my mind.
Yes.
One actor that we didn't mention. The girl that played the college girl that was hitting on Anthony Rapp, that was Lolita Davidovich, man.
Yeah.
She looks unrecognizable. And just a couple of years after that, she was in Blaze with Paul Newman.
Right.
She looks like 10 years old. It's crazy how different she looks. I had no clue that was her.
Wow. Yeah.
None.
Yeah. There is a version on Disney Plus right now that's available. It was a Disney Plus family movie. It has been modified. They took out some of the swearing.
Oh, really?
Otherwise it was not.
Because there's some F-bombs in there.
There are some F-bombs. They took out some of the swearing and made it PG and then released that on the streaming. And honestly, if we had watched that version, I probably wouldn't have noticed. Like it's not like it added or took away anything.
It's not like you're watching that every year either.
No. But it's available. It's fun. If you liked it when you were young, like take a look at it again. It is definitely. I had to not watch most of the blues bar scene because it's so cringy. I have a real hard time with awkward stuff, and man,
No.
oh man, it was like the second they walked in, I was like, oh god, this is really happening.
Yeah. And it happened.
If it had happened later in the movie, maybe it wouldn't have been as cringy. But, man, it was just like first on. It was like, okay, here we go.
Well, there was this weird trend in teen comedies back then where they would come in and these white suburban rich kids would dabble in black culture.
Yeah.
And usurp it, like Weird Science. Love that movie to death. Love it.
Yeah.
When Anthony Michael Hall is...
He kicked me in the nuts.
It's like, dude, calm the F down, okay?
But he was super drunk.
Sure.
Like,
he was still...
I find
he
that...
kicked you in the nuts.
He kicked me in the nuts.
I mean, come on, man.
I find it a little more believable just because he was so hammered.
That one is less... They didn't come in and like, oh, we all love them because they're white kids with problems,
No, he came in and got hammered, and they were like, "You're funny,"
and they were going to kill them, and then basically were amused by them. So but still, it's just like this. Black people were a comedy foil or some just like a detour into scariness or some sort of BS.
Yeah.
With these suburban Chicago movies.
they were being used as plot points rather than as actual. Like
humans,
3-dimensional human beings.
Yes. And that was a problem. But
although I will say Calvin Levels in this is everyone never talks about the car thief. Granted, yes, he's a black car thief, but he is one of the most interesting characters in the movie.
And saves the day. He's the nice guy. And the car thief with the article. So it's like whatever. But I'm not saying that this was like a blatantly racist movie or anything.
No. I think it was more done in ignorance.
It's time. Look, you're going to watch stuff from the 80s and the 70s, mostly the 80s.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of cringe crap when it comes to minorities or women or the LGBTQ community because people didn't... The majority of people doing the executivizing and the writing and the directing were white.
Yeah.
And the casting and this.
Middle-aged white guys, yeah.
And white guys from Yale and from Harvard that probably didn't spend a lot of time in the suburban areas or the urban areas, as they would say.
Urban, yeah.
So, so it's just like this.
Well, this is what my buddy John said black people were like.
So there's a lot of insensitivity, but that's just the time, unfortunately. And I don't think, because we have to, we talked about this with Remo Williams. You got to look at context and you have to look at intent.
Yeah.
And I don't think that in any of these examples, the intent was maliciousness.
Right.
Or racism or meanness. It was just ignorance and, and comedy and lazy comedy, So, I can watch these things without, outrage because... it's like
it's of its time, and
it's really, if you're going to retroactively judge everything, you're going to go insane.
Oh yeah,
because there's nothing from 1960 backwards. Right. There's nothing good.
No.
From the beginning of this country, there's nothing good when it comes to that.
Wait, what?
You have to look at context, and I don't think, I think it was just misguided. And naive and a lack of research understanding.
Yeah. I think
get a black friend. I mean, just ask Canada or ask Calvin Levels.
Right.
Is this kosher?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
No. I think that it is important to watch stuff like this just to see how far we've come as a society and how we have learned from these things that this is not the way that you portray people.
Yeah, well.
I mean, we're still not perfect by any means.
And we might be going back.
Well. But, I think it's important. I don't think that we're going to be able to go back without force. I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope so. Look, I don't believe in censoring art at all. Because I think, like, if you go back and you censor, say, Huck Finn, that you're misrepresenting what that time was, what the history is, and you're sanitizing it and taking away the impact of what it was at the time.
Yeah.
You can't. Every one of these things has some sort of cultural significance or significance.
Right.
And either move people forward or backward, but to ignore it or to sanitize it or to pretend like it never happened, that isn't going to help or fix things. You have to face everything head on, confront it, and then you move on from it, and you're like, that was dumb, we're not going to do it again.
Right.
We've learned our lesson.
Progress can be hard.
And look, this is just a dumb comedy. It's not like they need chastised or whatever. It's just a dumb comedy with some dumb scenes. But like you said, I think it's more interesting to see things the way that they were, warts and all, because then we see what society was like, than seeing an idealized version of it.
Yeah.
That kind of takes away everything that makes it of that time.
Agreed. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. We're ending the month on a much better note.
Oh boy, if this one lets me down, I'm killing myself.
I don't think it's going to. I have actually seen this more recently than the 30 years I've seen the last two. But The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, I am so excited to watch this again.
Oh, you're going to get Munchausen by proxy. Which means you're going to giggle. I love Munchausen. I had that on Laserdisc. That was so good. A definite rewatch. But since I got rid of my Laserdiscs, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well,
laser dicks.
Your laser dicks?
Ooh.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Now.
Nobody gets out of here without singing the blues.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Eye contact.
Yeah, all right.
Did you feel the love?
No.
Aw, there was a lot pushing through my eyes. You need to open up to my love.
I am dead inside, Jim. I don't feel anything.
Well, we're going to fix that.
Yeah, well. In 1991, Coogan was in another high school comedy, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter. Wow.
The Babysitter?
The Babysitter? Yeah. Penelope.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Head of the class, already in progress.